린스.
스키.
괜찮아. 키위. 그렇지. 키위.
위험해.
위험해.
This is one of the little games we do to pass the time in the car, during a game night, or anytime we are a little bored and try to find something fun to do. And although the primary aim of this is to entertain ourselves, these little games are extremely helpful to strengthen our children's knowledge of our home languages in a fun way. So today, Uta and I will be revisiting a few of these games that you might already know and discuss their benefits.
Rhymes are fascinating. Babies and toddlers are mesmerized by the repetition of similar sounds, by the rhythm of rhymes, from the nursery rhymes, the songs, and the poems. Rhymes transform the spoken words into music, and generally speaking, rhymes help to memorize text. What are rhymes now? Rhymes are, in a broader sense, the connection between words who have a similar sound, and this can be a vowel, a consonant sound, like for example in alliterations like the Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers, or of entire syllables. In songwriting and poetry, rhyming words are used to create the rhythmic effect. Today, Yoshito and I focus on some activities that foster rhyming skills in our children. You may wonder why our children need to be able to rhyme. Now, recognizing rhymes and being able to rhyme is an important skill for our children, as it helps to later make the connection between sounds and words, and it is an important step towards decoding, or in other terms, reading. So children learn to listen, to recognize, and then generate rhyming words. They can identify, for example, the difference in beginning sounds in a sequence of words like cat, hat, rat, and that. And they can identify also the similarities between final sounds and syllables, like in sing, string, thing, and also in medial sounds like fan, cat, rag.
In addition to the benefits Ute has just mentioned, games based on syllables have the advantage of triggering the memory by giving the beginning. So they are very powerful in the retrieval process of words our children already know. It can also happen that our children say a word that they remember hearing but don't know the meaning of. And so in general, it can also be a great opportunity to clarify those words.
마늘 뭐야? garlic.
Let's start with the game we've seen at the beginning of this video. So although it can be played in any language, we've actually only played it in Korean. And the main reason is that my wife introduced this game. It's a game that she used to play as a child. And that's probably a tip that you can take away. So whenever we introduce a game that we used to play as children, we tell anecdotes about who taught us this game or who we used to play it with. And this anchors this game into our own cultures. So our children have been more likely to carry on playing this game in our home languages. Now let me explain the rules. So to play it, player A is going to be saying a word and player B is going to be saying another word that starts with the last syllable player A mentioned, and so on. And the player who cannot find a word loses. And when our sons were younger, it would be me and my two sons against my wife, because we would play it in Korean, so she obviously knew many more words, and also psychologically it was really useful for my youngest not to start being frustrated because he would lose. We would be three together, losing together, it was fine. But nowadays, because they know many more words, I generally join one of my sons and we play as a three, so 2 against 1 and 1, like that. Because otherwise, because we play it in Korean, I would lose every time. Now, let me introduce you to another game that my sons and I decided to call Jinx. If you know what Jinx is when two people speak and they happen to say the same thing at the same time, then they need to say Jinx first. The first one who says Jinx can paralyze the other one, or the other one is not allowed to talk until, I can't remember when, but they can't talk. So in our games, we keep the same principle of when two people say the same thing at the same time, they need to say jinx. And the first one who says jinx wins. So in our game, one player is going to be saying a syllable. And the other players need to find a word that starts with this syllable. If they happen to say the same word, they need to say jinx before the other one. And if it's not the same one, we just carry on until two people say the same word. So we need to play it as 3 players minimum. At least one player who says the syllable, the first syllables, and the other 2 who compete to say a word. And to say jinx first.
Mou.
Mou.
Mou. Faut que ce soit un mot.
Ah oui, moo is a word.
Wow. Va.
Sh.
Oh.
Oh.
And what I like about this game as well is that it is not frustrating for anyone. It can be played with people who have different levels. So for example, the person who says the first syllable can be anyone. They are not in a competition. And so it can be the one who has the less vocabulary who says the first syllable. And the others compete, but it's not based on knowledge of vocabulary. It's based on reflexes. The first one who can say jinx, because they can hear that it's the same word, wins. So this avoids any negative feelings about the language, and it gets our children more curious about the words they hear.
With older children, we can play a game where they need to find word patterns. You can find a description of this particular game in our toolbox at number 49, but I will share with you a little variation of it now. This game consists of forming sentences that play with a word, for example, car. And each player tries to form a sentence with words that have the sequence of the sounds k, a, in it. So the first player can say something like, there are many cars on the street. The second player can say, did you see the scar my sister has on her leg? And at the next turn, someone can say, did you see how much mascara she put on yesterday? And so on. The very fun factor lies in the nonsense of all the sentences put together. Another game above rhyming that you can also find in our toolbox is about composing a song. Whether this is a rap or not is up to our children to decide. We previously made a video explaining how songs help develop speaking and writing skills. I invite you to check it out by clicking the link in the description.
We have many more quick and easy games in our books, the Toolbox for Multilingual Families and the Parents Guide for Raising Multi-literate Children. They are both on Amazon, and we have left the links in the description below. If you haven't done so yet, make sure you subscribe to our channel to be notified whenever we publish a new video.
So let's sum it up. Being able to spot individual sounds and syllables is an extremely important step in the reading process. Currently, in the school systems in various countries, very few children are seen for an oral language evaluation. So if you notice that your children struggle with rhyming, with singing, whether it be because they can't hear you properly or have difficulty recognizing and distinguishing sounds, please consult an audiologist and/or a speech and language specialist. The games we presented in this video will help you spot any sign. And of course, they are fun activities that need zero preparation, so have fun with your languages.